The Painting with Magic Show with Brandon Thomas is brought to you by BrandonThomasArtSupply.com.
Hey, it's me, it's Brandon T here with the Painting with Magic Show, and it's so good to be back with you after being away for a little bit, family emergencies, and so much has been going on, but I want to say thank you so much for all your prayers. They've helped me so much. Prayer is the best thing anybody could do for somebody, and it lifts me up, lifts my spirits up. See all you on there in the comments, and it means so much to me, and I truly do, I do love you. So, I want to get into this project with you guys. I know y'all ready to get monkey faced on it. What I have is my standard 16 by 20 canvas. It's the Fredrix Red label. I get a lot of questions about what canvas I use. That's the Fredrix Red label canvas. It's a cotton canvas, double primed. And what I have on that is my signature amazing white medium, a thin coat on the whole thing, so the canvas is wet. This is wet on wet oil painting. So always we're using oil paint here. These are Grumbacher pre-tested oil paints. I really do enjoy those oil colors. They're very pigmented, extremely good for this technique, and they work so good. And so like I said, this is wet on wet oil painting. So I thought I'd get that out there. I get a lot of questions on what paint I'm using. Is the canvas wet? It's wet, it's ready to go. And the brush I'm using is my signature line of signature brushes. These you can get at BrandonThomasArtSupply.com. These are pure 100% natural bristles, and so you have to break the brush in because it's natural bristle. It comes from animal hair, off the old animal, and it works so good with this technique. So let's tell you what, I'm ready, get monkey face. So I'll take an old 2-inch landscape brush, and we'll go into some Prussian blue to start us off today. Just a little Prussian blue. I'm gonna reach over here, grab me a little ivory black, a little bit of burnt sienna. That's good stuff. And those colors should have already been on the screen for you. I got a little carried away, a little quick on it. I'm ready to go. So nice dark gray blue color. And that's just a nice thin little layer of paint on this brush. Very little bit. Doesn't take much of this old paint. This paint's super strong. So tell you what, let's go up here and get monkey faced on it. And what I'm going to use is like a circle-y X stroke. Just kind of let the brush play around up here today. I want some nice variation of color going on. I'm going to reload that old brush up, same old color. You can add a little more blue, a little more burnt sienna, and just kind of play around with the color on your sky today. This is going to be a nice, relaxing, cool painting. It's going to have some summery colors too in it, but what these paintings do, these are good for the soul. These paintings like this, they're kind of gloomy, but I'm telling you, they do good. They're good for the soul. To see some of these sometimes, put those emotions on the canvas. You put those emotions on the canvas, those little gloomy colors, and it helps you kind of get them out. But I'm not gloomy today. I'm going monkey faced on it. But sometimes these little paintings are good. Okay, I like that right there so far. Nice and kind of smoky and all everywhere. Okay, so what I have is my sky, and I have water down here. Well, we haven't been in the studio for a little bit, so we forgot to record the part where I painted the water, so we messed up. So what I have here, these are from Fredrix anyway. These are little canvas pads, and these are awesome. These are made really good. They're gessoed already with different colors. A green one, there's a blue one, and they got a earth tone, the light earth tone, and an orange one. These are all awesome, and I use these all the time. I use it for practicing on. If there's something I want to try out, I'll use these little canvas pads, and these are awesome. These work great. I always like using these for testing different things out, for painting different types of trees, or fine-tuning some techniques. These are great for practicing on. And so I'm going to take a back of an old board here, old painting. It's on a canvas board, and I'm going to show you how to paint in that water. So let's reload the old brush in that same old sky color, and we'll repaint this water here. Okay, so I have my little practice pad up here, And I'm just going to, I have some NTO medium on here, just so it's wet. And I got that same 2-inch brush and I loaded it up into the same color we used for the sky. And what I do is you come from the edge of the canvas, pretend this is the edge, and you go push in and pull off like that. And just work it up like so. Like that right there. And then you come from the other side and allow it to create a shimmer. Okay? It creates a beautiful little shimmer like that. And that's all I did. I didn't even blend it out. I just painted it and that's all I did. This is darker because, for one, I just put clear up here. There's no amazing light, just the NTO medium. That way I can get to move around on me. So that's how we did that. So we'll set back up the canvas and we'll start painting the clouds. Okay, so I got me a 2-inch landscape brush and I'm just going to tap into the titanium white. Just titanium white. Just tap it in. The whole brush being tapped in there. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to use that whole brush to paint a cloud. Let's go back here. Okay, I'm going to take this brush straight on, and I'm just going to kind of play around with some cloudy shapes. Just like that. These are just those big old clouds that just kind of float around. Kind of a storm cloud. Kind of like a stormy cloud. Okay, this is a newer brush, so I can flick the little hair off there. I just got to break it in. Brushes take time to break in. I have to tell people that constantly. You got to break the brush in. You got to let it work. But the paint's sticking. See that? That's because it's a natural bristle. And then because there's not that much paint on the brush, I should be able to blend with that same brush. Because I just kind of cleaned it off at the bottom, at the base. And then you can always add in another little something right there. Just kind of goes along with it. Blend it just a little bit. Reload your brush. And you can pay, there's a little something over here just playing around. But nothing too much. You don't have to spend a lot of time on your skies. There we go, that's good enough. I tell you what, we ain't painting a mountain in a little bit, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to grab a big knife, we're going to pick a mountain. So go to the old palette, mixes up a color. Okay, I'm going to take some Prussian blue, put it down here, I'm going to grab some black. And burnt sienna, some red in that, and a little titanium white. And mix that up really good. Okay, there's a lot of red in this. So I'm going to add a little more blue. I'm going to add a little bit more black. A little bit more burnt sienna. Okay, hope you can see that good. And I'm going to take a little roll of paint around my old knife here. Maybe a little bit smaller. There we go. So all you got to do is pull that paint out flat, take the knife and go cut across it. And that gets you a roll. But you can do this here, which is I taught my students this a lot of times. Take your knife, lay it flat, like you're going to scrape up the paint. That's what you're going to do, you're going to scrape it up. And you get a beautiful roll of paint. Very easily done. Okay, so I guess I'll go up here. We're going to put this little mountain in here. And we're going to hold the knife straight up and down like this. And put a little pressure on it. Don't have to take much pressure. Go down with it. Maybe another little peaks there. Comes off to the side. There's a nice little peaks going on. Nice little peaks going on. You can always play around with it a little bit more. And maybe another little peak right here. See? It's that easy to get you some peaks going. And then we come in here and just scrape out that old paint. Scrape it out. Now, it sounds like I'm really scraping harder than what I am, but I'm not putting that much pressure on the knife. You see that knife's not being bent? That's too much pressure. It don't take much to scrape it off. Just like that. And just put that old paint right back into the old pile. Then we'll take the old 2-inch brush we were using for the clouds, and let's come in here and pull it out. Just like that. You can use the 1-inch if you want to. I'm just going to grab the old 2-inch, do it with that one. And then start doing some little X strokes at the bottom of it. You can see you got a little close there. You can fix that, no problem. Guess what? Oh, he's got another little peak. You can screw a little bit more. See there? So if you make a little mistake, you can always fix it. Alright. That's good enough right there. Then we'll take an old clean knife. Tell you what, before we do that, let's just take a little bit more of that mountain color. And we're going to go on this side of the mountain, on the right side of the mountain. Throw in a little texture. Just like that. See that? Just throwing a little texture in. Kind of painting the shadows first. That's good. Now let's go to the old palette, mix it up with another color. I'm going to take burnt sienna and mix it with a little bit of that mountain color. I want a nice dark color. May need more of that, just because I need a lot. There's a nice dark color. See that? Good color. And we'll take a little roll of that and we'll see how that works for us. Let's go back here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this darker brown tone. Just come on this side of it. Just work it in. No pressure on here. There's no pressure on this knife. Then you come on this side. Highlights are going from the left today. They're coming from the left today. A little pressure through there, just so I get the paint to blend a little better. But no pressure generally. Okay, that'll get me kind of started there. Let's go back to old palette now. I'm going to take some titanium white and mix it right into this same color we were just marking with, the brown tone. Okay? And then get a little roll of that. Let's go back here. Now you'll start seeing this whole mountain come to life. Beautiful mountain. No pressure on it. This is where you start making your decisions about how it's going to look. This is really where it comes to life. No pressure on it. Something like that. Something simple. Like that. And then we'll make our shadow color, highlight color, and we'll go to old palette for that. I'm going to take some Prussian blue and some of the mountain mixture color and some titanium white. Little bits of white at a time. I'm going to take some on the other side of the knife. Let's go back here. And we can just touch. No pressure. See there? Comes to life now. Reading the other side of the knife now. I can use a little bitty edge of the knife. Come in here and do some of that. But just let it work and play. You can throw some at the base. Something like that right there. Throw a little blue in here, too. Little bits. Then I can always come back with some of that dark shadow color. Maybe add a little black to it. And strengthen some of those darks up a little bit more again. Something like that. Something like that. Just keep working your old mountain. No pressure at all. And just keep on playing around with it. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go and add a little more white to that same color. Let's go to the palette. I'll add a little titanium white to that color. And we'll get a little tiny roll. Let's go back here. Now, like I said, the light's coming from the left today. I just want to give it a little bit more of a highlight in some places here. No pressure. She does. That mountain starts to come to life now. Just an extra little something. See? Dan, over here. No pressure. Just a tiny little touch. There we go. I think with that my mountain's done. I'm going to grab my old 2-inch hake brush. Now at the bottom of this, I'm just going to kind of take and use my hake brush with very light pressure here. And just put some fog at the bottom. I'm not even going to add any white. I don't think I will. We'll have to see how it goes. Wipe off the old brush. See that? Beautiful fog. I think with that, we're turning pretty good with that. But I'm going to add just a touch of amazing white to the end of my bristles. Just a little touches of a little more cleaner looking mist there. No pressure. Super soft goat hair. This brush is made out of goat hair, so it's super, super soft. Alright, that there. I think that's good enough for the old mountain. Look at there. Oh, that looks good. Alrighty, so now we have our mountain in here, our mist and our fogs down there at the bottom. I want to start bringing in maybe some little foothills at the base. Now you can do however you want to do. You don't have to put there. You can put some little trees coming out of the mist or whatever you would like. But I'm going to do some little foothills there. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to use a number 6 filbert for this. But I probably need to mix up a color. And we already have a nice little range of colors going on here. And I always like to use the same bases. I like to build off those bases. So we're going to take the same exact color for the mountain mixture. But we're going to add some sap green to that and a little bit of more red. And get a nice dark tree color. But that's all there is to it. It's the same old way of going about it. We're just adding in some sap green now to this tree color mixture. And what I'll probably do is I'll add a little titanium white to that just to kind of lighten it up just a little bit so we kind of create some more layers. So we'll go to the palette here and I'll show you in detail what these look like. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see this. What I have is a darker color and I have a lighter color. And I'm going to actually make this a little bit lighter by adding a little bit more titanium white to that. And we can always see what color it is when we get up here. But you can start lighter and bring in more dark to it, okay? So at home, I recommend making a big old palette tree color. We're going to use it a little bit more than just these little hack heels. So get that color right there. Let's go back here now. We're going to grab a number 6 filbert brush and just load it into that paint back and forth. And then you can do a little tappy tap. Number 6 filbert brush. Let's go back here. Okay, so working this idea in here. These little foothills. Little foothill mountains. Kind of way back here. You can use the old 1-inch brush if you choose to. But what I'm doing here is we're trying a different shot here. We're going to get a close-up of what it looks like when I'm painting them in here. Just punching it in like this. Just tapping it in. And working it in. Okay? So I'll show you a close-up shot, and then we'll show you a backup shot so you can kind of lay out yours so you can see where to go to it at. But we're trying a different shot here so you can kind of see the top of the brush and everything and how the brush strokes are working. So I hope you like that one. Okay, so I hope you like that little shot there. We have of these a little bit more. Maybe this goes up a little taller. But I just wanted to show you the strokes, and then you can do them yourself. Something like that, after a little foothill. Grab that old 2-inch brush. And use that to kind of fill it up a little bit. And I'm going to pull up on it, just so I can get a little bit more of a tree look back there. Then I'm just going to take the darker tone and mix it into the lighter tone. That way that it's just a little touch darker. This one goes right in front of it. Just something like that. Way back here in the background. You probably ain't going to see any of this, so fill that all up as good as possible. Now this brush is made out of nice, firm hog bristle, so that way that it could take a beating. Now these brushes here are made out of a specific select bore that I've done. These 2-inch and 1-inch landscape brushes. We can actually bring some land out with that. So let's kind of lower that darker color there. Bring out a little bit of land with that. What am I thinking about that there? Not a little surprise. I like doing those like that. Something that starts caking over the painting. And then I'll take and just use my hake brush to kind of soften up this little bit of that fog at the base of this one. Again, I don't know how much of that we're going to actually see. But that works just like that. Okay. Then I'll grab a 2-inch, nice dry one, nice clean dry one, and just pull it down, just like that. And just go across that. Now, I want to add in a little bit of water lines, but before I put the water lines in, I want to put a little bit of grassy texture back there. So I'll tell you what we'll grab is the old 2-inch brush. We'll go to the old palette. This 2-inch brush is dirty, and we'll go through yellow ochre and cadmium yellow all together. And because it's dirty, it will create a beautiful dark or nice green color automatically. So we'll take that and go back here now. Just tap it in. Let's go back here now. Okay, so back here, we just loaded that brush up, and your brush is going to have a natural little angle to it. Okay, once you load it up, you see how this side, if I can show you, this side here, where's this side here? See how this side here is more angled because I loaded it up. We're going to use that side to paint, so that side down. Then come back here and very gently touching, we'll start creating some nice soft grass. There's no medium added to this. It's very important. Don't add any medium unless you absolutely have to add it. This paint should just stick. Because of how these bristles are made and how the brush is designed, the paint sticks very nicely to it. Now let's go to the old palette real quick again. I'm going to take some Amazing White, a little bit of titanium white with it to thicken it up a little bit more. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of that dirty tree color, because I want to tone this down, maybe a little blue to it as well. So I want to tone it down. Maybe some of that sky color we made. Okay, so a nice toned down tone. Like that. And then just get tiniest little bit of paint. Let's go back here. Now we want to keep this as flat as possible, or nice and level as possible. Holding the knife straight into it, and then going back and forth. A lot of times I'll hold it down a little bit, and it gives me a little bit of a better bite. A little better bite at it. You can even use a little small end of the knife. If the big end of the knife is too much for you to try, Maybe you're just now starting out painting and you just want to try something different. You try the little end of the knife. And sometimes that gives you a little bit more control. See, it's like that. But I'm not going to use straight titanium white with this because it would be too bright. You need to tone that color down. So how it looks better there. It looks more realistic there like that. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll mix a big old pile of tree color. And we'll go down the little palette. Okay, so I just got a big pile of tree color. We made this tree color already. I just made a big old pile of that. Then we'll take some titanium white, go right next door to it, scoop some of that up. That color going. Okay, so I got that nice color there. Nice, beautiful color. It's white that I mixed using the dark tree color. I just mixed some white with it. Okay, so we'll take a fan brush real quick. Take a number 3 fan brush. You can use number 6 if you want, but it's a number 3 fan brush will do me fine. Okay, back and forth. Let's go back here. Okay, so right through here, I'm actually going to start making in some little trees. Now, these little trees are going to be kind of fast and quick. Just kind of punching in a few of these trees. Most of the toppers. Okay, something like that there. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pull down, just like this, with the brush. Give me a couple of those more tree little effects. Okay, like that. Again, those trees. Throw a couple more of them trees back here, just a lighter color. Again, you decide how many trees and what color you want to use. Maybe you don't want these trees. Maybe those trees won't even show up, I don't know. But they're just good to have in the background, just to have them in there anyway. Okay, so I'm just pulling straight down to make those trees, and then these trees here are just using the one side of the brush. So now, let's kind of lay out the bottom land. And I'm going to use this here to kind of lay out my land. Okay, so I'm laying out my bottom land area. I have a little swoop right there. Like that. Okay, good. Then we'll take an old 1-inch landscape brush and let's go down the old palette. But before I do that, let's take this old 1-inch brush and just kind of fill this in right through here. We don't want any gaps or anything in this. Just kind of fill that in with that color. That's good. A little chunk of something there. Okay, that's good enough. Then you could take your palette knife and just kind of scrape in some stuff like this. And it'll give you some nice scratchy stuff. In the background. And you can just kind of throw in some little textures. Using that same color, but just using some textures back here. Just so it's not just nothing there. Let's go back to the old palette. And we're going to load this 1-inch brush right into that dark color. Nice amount of paint. It's a little bit of a little bit of dry paint there. Okay, load it up and chisel the brush. This brush has extra long bristles on it. That way I can really chisel this very, very easily. Let's go back here now. Now I want to add in some big old trees. Now I start making my decision here. Make sure my brush is nice and where I want it. Big tree right here. Okay. Make sure that brush is nice and loaded good. And use one little corner of your brush that you chiseled. And just bring it in. Most of the stuff's going to be turned into the background, which is what it was. It's background stuff. There's just background stuff. Big old tree right there. Okay, maybe there's another little tree, maybe right through here. And just filling that in. Just like that right there. So we just got some stuff there. And then at the bottom, you can see there's a tree, a little bushy tree right there. Okay. Now, we're going to create sand at the bottom of this, but we're not going to do that just right now. We're going to keep working on this tree, finish this tree up, then we'll start working on our sandy area. So we need to make a tree trunk color. Now we're going to use just that whitey brown tone. Okay, we're going to use that old highlight color we used on the old mountain. Then we wipe off the knife. So if it gets in that little color in it, that's fine. Let's go up here, on the opposite side of the knife, on the back side. Let's go back here. Okay, now I'm just going to take this color. I'm going to work it straight down this old tree. Do the same on this one. You just kind of just throw in some. You throw in some tree branches and just take the knife and just scrape them out. We made trees like this before on the show. About one of my favorite ways to make trees with a 1-inch brush. And then we'll take another 1-inch brush, nice 1-inch landscape brush, and we'll go back to the old pound again. Okay, 1-inch brush, and we're going to take those same old tones again. And we're going to grab some of that tree tone, that tree color we mixed up. Just so we get a nice mid-tone green, maybe a little bit more. And it's going to get darker as we paint on here as well, so don't make it too dark. There's no medium on this brush. We're going to see if this will work without any medium. It should, but we'll see. If it don't, we can add as a little bit of clear. But we're going to try it without any first, because I want to try to create 3 layers. So let's go back up here. Okay, so again, the highlights are coming from the left, so make sure we do that. And the paint is sticking. It's sticking. So I'm hoping you can see that. Don't just paint every branch. Just keep the bright. You want that nice dark color to remain on here. Keep going, reload that old brush. Now you might have to reload it often, a little more often, because there's no medium on here. I didn't add any medium to it. Keep the nice bottoms of these dark. Okay, just like that right there. I like that pretty good. Maybe work a little bit on that other side of it. Okay, now I'll tell you what. Let's go back to the old palette now. Now I've added some amazing white. Just a little amazing white now. Now we'll go up here and see what's going on with it. See if it sticks. Should stick, but we'll see now. See if it doesn't stick, we'll add a little more medium to it. But let's check it out and see. Okay, I'm just going to check it and see if it sticks. It's sticking. It's sticking. And I was going to put it on just a few branches. You may or may not see that. You might be able to see that. I hope you can. But I'm using very, very little pressure here. Very, 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 very little. But just a nice little touch. Just a nice little bit of highlight there. Okay. Using this other one to kind of soften it up and blend it just a little bit. Because I don't want it to be just solely one-sided. I like a darker green tone here. Maybe like that right there. Hope you can see all that. Okay, don't overwork it too much, because if you do, then you'll be in trouble. Then you'll be trouble. You're in trouble city then. Just keep working your little trees. That's something, I bet I like that right there. I think that's going to work good enough for me. I'll go back and forth with some lighter, darker tones. And I think that my tree's done. I'm just kind of scraping some things at the base down here. Like that. Then darker tree color with just a little bit of medium in it. Just so I can get a little bit of texture here. So I want to remain dark at the bottom, but just a little bit of texture. Just a little bit of texture going. Okay. So I'm going to take away from that power of that tree. That tree's powerful. The tree is powerful. Now we could take an old number 6 fan brush and go to the palette. Now, if it was a sandy beach, that white snow, looking stuff would look fine, but we're not at a sandy beach. Okay, so I'm going to take a little black and a little touch of blue with it. Make a nice dark brown. Let's go back here. Now, if this was snow, this would be a perfect start. There's not very much paint on here at all. But this is going to be sand. A little sandy area. We've all played in those areas at the lake where it's got a nice little sandy area to it. A little sandy beach. Something like that. Now that little bit of texture was just a guide. We'll come back and we'll add that to it. But this is just to get the sand started. We all love the sandy areas. They're always fun to do. The redneck beach spot. There we go. And then I'll just add titanium white in there with it. Just grab titanium white. A little more. That's all I'm doing. Just add a little titanium white. Maybe a little more white. Didn't get much white in that one. For my sandy area. Something like that right there. I think it looks pretty good. Nice little sandy area. And then we'll just take that dark color on the number 6 fan, or number 3 fan brush we was using earlier with the dark on it. And we can just bring that dark stuff back on here. These little areas here. Okay. There's always a sign that says no fishing. But we fished her anyway. Okay, I like that. Okay, then just to add a few more touches to this, I'm just going to add some grassy, some tall grassy textures to it. I think with that we'll have a finished little painting. I think this looks pretty good. It's a nice little one to do. It's simple, but it has a lot going on with it as well. And it's something different. Again, I like to take my liner brush and dip into some paint thinner and then dry it off, and then I can come in here and I can add some beautiful tall grass effects. I can add some beautiful tall grass effects here. You don't want to add too many of them, because if you do, you just overwork the area, but just a nice little few will do. Okay. Just a few will do. It's kind of in the shadow. I don't need to add any highlight to it. That's good enough. Even pull in a little something over there, a little stick. You can do so much with this little lake scene here. But this is just what I want to do right here. Something nice and simple. And with that, I think I have a finished little painting. Alrighty, so with that, this is a finished little painting. I do hope you enjoyed painting with me today. This is a fun project to do. It gives you some different things to play around with, how to add sand to your little lakey areas, and how to do some beautiful massive trees and beautiful little details on your mountains. And create a painting that's just a nice, relaxing little settling area that just has those colors going through. Beautiful toned down tones. I love those paintings like that. I love them. So with this one here, I think you'll enjoy it. Please check us out on Facebook at Brandon's Wet on Wet Club. Always happy to add you there to our little Facebook family, our little community, where we all get to talk and communicate, show what we're doing, show what we're working on, what we're getting monkey faced on. So I think you'll like that little group. Check us out also on our Facebook page, Brand Thomas Art and Painting with Magic. We have a Painting with Magic Facebook page as well, so we post different updates about the show. Please follow us on Instagram, Brand Thomas Art. And we're also just started an Instagram for the Painting with Magic show, so check us out on there. Please check out BrandThomasArtSupply.com. That's where you can find my signature brushes and mediums. And these palettes are now available for pre-order. So if you want to get a palette, they're available for pre-order. I have a video more on those. And Amazing One is available for pre-order as well right now, because we was a little backed up on it. It's hard for us to keep some of that stuff in stock. But with the pre-order, we'll be able to build up and get you some mediums and palettes available for you. So please check it out. Please subscribe. Please share. Every time you share and like the show and comment, it helps me out tremendously. That way we can keep these shows going. Again, well, thank you so much for all your prayers, all your comments, and your support. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I'll see you real soon.